Hey there, everyone. Oh, Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Steven's NFL podcast. And this is a very special one, considering the fact that tonight we're doing the Super Bowl preview. Well, that's for the finale. Tonight we will be discussing a lot. A lot, by the way. We will be talking about Carson Wentz, his chances of being traded. We're also going to be reviewing the Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff trade. We're also going to be discussing about Derek Carr and which team he could end up. We're also going to be talking about the Miami Dolphins, by the way, who hired two offensive coordinators and compare them to the Tennessee Titans of this year with no defensive coordinators. And then finally, afterwards, we're going to compare Bucky's and Lance's mock drafts. 2 episodes ago, we did We did Jeremiah's two weeks ago. This time we're going to do Bucky's and Lance's. And finally, after that, it is Super Bowl 55 preview. That's right. I'll be doing Super Bowl 55. But the preview must come first. Anyways, now I want... So... During this time, I'm going to put in the live chat the topic we're bringing up. That way you'll be up to date on what's going on, and I won't type in another one unless we move on. So let's talk. So let's get this party started with the Carson Wentz trade talk. Here's the thing. Let's get this party started with the Carson Wentz trade talk. Now, some of you who caught my last video of Carson Wentz says that he might get traded, but no, Philadelphia Eagles might not be interested, but they are listening to offers. But here's the thing. Wentz is expecting to be traded, so that's why I'm going with Carson Wentz's topic first. I really want to get this out of the way. If Carson Wentz's trade happens, please put it in the live chat. That way, because I am literally away from my TV to get brighter screen time. I mean, seriously. So yeah, basically Carson Wentz, his time with Philadelphia Eagles could expire. And right now, the team that's mostly in the lead right now is the Chicago Bears. Why Chicago? I don't know. Maybe it's because they have Nick Foles on their team. Maybe Philadelphia Eagles wants him back. Ooh. I mean, seriously, Philadelphia Eagles are could be desperate to get Nick Foles back. They could trade away Carson Wentz, or they'll probably want some draft picks, or maybe take their chances with Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know why, but yeah, Chicago Bears are in the lead right now. Indianapolis Colts fans, you got to tell your team to step up because Chicago is leading the Carson Wentz trade talk. That's right. If Carson Wentz is about to be traded soon, Chicago Bears is most likely the team to get him. And that's where I put in the question. Which team do you think Carson Wentz will end up? I mean, seriously, because right now Carson Wentz feels like he's going to be a Chicago Bear. I mean, take a look at the NFC North right now. Right now they have Aaron Rodgers for Packers, Kirk Cousins for Vikings, Jared Goff for Lions, which thanks to that crazy trade, by the way, which I'll be discussing after this topic. Imagine if Carson Wentz ends up with Chicago. The NFC North would be the most talked about division based on QBs. I mean, seriously. the media would be all over the NFC North because of the quarterback trades. I mean, seriously. Carson Wentz, yikes. If you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, you got to tell them to step up for Carson Wentz even more because right now Chicago is leading, and you got to make every move count. I mean, seriously, you got the second highest salary cap behind the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, seriously. If you lose Carson Wentz to Chicago, you are really going to be in the rabbit hole because what are you going to do with the quarterback situation after that? I mean, seriously. I think you might have to draft Mac Jones. I don't see any other QBs that could definitely fit in, unless, of course, you bring in Dak Prescott, but Dallas Cowboys are not going to let him go. Unless, of course, Dak Prescott has enough or Dallas Cowboys don't have the money to keep Dak. I mean, seriously. It's all or nothing on Carson Wentz because I don't think Sam Darnold is the solution. I think Mac Jones is if Carson Wentz doesn't get traded to Indy. I mean, seriously, this has got to be a bad. This has got to be a situation you do not want to be in. You do not want to be in this situation. This is a situation that Indianapolis has to step up. I mean, seriously, Chicago Bears are in the lead for Carson Wentz. This is one of the most. This is insanity. I did not expect Chicago Bears to take the lead. I thought Indianapolis was going to be the one to do it. That was very dumb. Especially when they said we are not talking about the QB situation right now. That was dumb. Carson Wentz was right in front of you. I mean, seriously, what in the world? Did the fact that Philadelphia Eagles tried to avoid losing Carson Wentz made Indianapolis Colts scared? Because apparently Chicago Bears, they're not backing down. I mean, seriously. Chicago Bears is in the lead to get Carson Wentz. And if we hear Chicago Bears getting traded, this is going to be crazy. Basically, in my opinion, Chicago will lose because Indianapolis has the most cap space. I think Indianapolis will fight back for Carson Wentz because if they don't, then they're going to have to draft They're going to have to draft the QB because there's no way in hell Sam Darnold's going to be the solution. And I don't think Dak Prescott could leave Dallas anytime soon. And we all know well Andrew Luck's not coming out of retirement. Yeah, we've been getting rumors about that. So yeah, if Carson Wentz leaves, I'm going to have to say draft a QB. Maybe not in round 1, but maybe in round 2. If Mac Jones survives long enough, because I think round 1, they're going to have to draft a left tackle to replace Anthony Costanzo. I mean, seriously, if you go QB in the first round and you lose a good left tackle to replace Anthony Costanzo, you're getting screwed over. You're getting screwed over. Don't forget Costanzo retired before Phillip Rivers. I mean, seriously, what in the world? You're seriously going to pass on a left tackle? Nope. Not in my world. Not in my world. Okay. Let's move on to our next topic. We're going to review. Next up, reviewing the Matthews. Next up, I'm putting in the next topic right now. Now we're going to review the Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff trade. And this one kind of shocked me, to say the least. I cannot believe this was happening. I was watching the Los Angeles Lakers and Boston Celtics game. I was live streaming that game. I was live streaming the play-by-play of that game when it all went down. I cannot believe that trade actually happened. I actually had to make the video while doing the live stream. I mean, seriously. I was doing the play-by-play of the Lakers and Celtics game last week when this trade went down. And then I was like, oh my God, what in the world? Yeah, I cannot believe this. Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff get traded to each other's teams, but the Rams, however, they held themselves back. For the Rams, not only gave the Lions Jared Goff, they gave them their third-round pick for this year and their next 2 first-round draft picks, which means they're not able to draft in the first round till 2024. 2024. That's 8 years since their last. That will be 8 years since their last first-round draft pick, and it was for the guy they traded away. I cannot believe this. That was insanity. That trade actually happened. That was insanity. I was really losing my mind when that happened. I was losing my mind when it all went down. I mean, seriously. I was watching the Lakers and Celtics game, doing the play-by-play. I was live when it all went down. Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff get traded to each other's teams. I hope when the schedule gets released, that game is in my area or is a Thursday night, Sunday night, or Monday night football game. Because I want to do that game. I mean, seriously. I seriously want to do that game. I want to see Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff go up against each other on opposite sides, working for their opposing teams. I mean, seriously. I hope I get the game in my area, or hope that it becomes a Thursday night, Sunday night, or a Monday night football game, because I really want to see that game go down. Guess I'll just have to roll when the schedule release goes down. I will be making this a podcast special. I'll be making that a podcast special. So yeah, you got a sneak preview of what my podcast special for the schedule being released will look like. Lions versus Rams would be one of the games I want to do, besides doing a Tennessee Titans game. But yeah, the Rams, they set themselves back to get Matthew Stafford. But then again, Matthew Stafford's contract is way huge that they had to give up all those draft picks. I can't blame them. But as a Tennessee Titans fan, now I got to deal with Matthew Stafford 2 years in a row. Unbelievable. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. I cannot believe this. So, yeah. So, here's the thing. So I have to give this trade a B plus because they traded their quarterbacks, but the Rams gave up too much. And now I'm going to ask, how do you grade the Stafford-Goff trade? Because obviously this is not in the world. This is not a trade that should happen. I mean, seriously. If you wanted a quarterback, you could have gotten Carson Wentz. But no, you went ahead and gone Jared Goff. Seriously, I did not expect Jared Goff to be one of the QBs to get traded. I mean, seriously, I did not expect Jared Goff to be one of the QBs to be traded. Ugh. Anyways, let's move on to our next topic. And that is Derek Carr. Now, a few days before Carson Wentz's announcement was announced, Derek Carr was on the trade block as well, and we were like, what in the world? Derek Carr too? I cannot believe Derek Carr was actually on the trade block. I mean, seriously. What in the world? Derek Carr. Yeah, Derek Carr was on the trading block. Who would have thought? And that puts Marcus Mariota or Nathan Peterman in a position to be the Raiders QB, and that, especially since Peterman's going to be on the Raiders team for another year. And the fact remains is that Derek Carr is extremely good. He just doesn't have the talent around him to do it, or the coach to motivate him. Could this spell a Houston Texans Las Vegas Raiders trade? I hope so, because I think Raiders would most likely be better off with Deshaun Watson than Derek Carr. I mean, seriously, Houston Texans worked with his brother David. So I wouldn't be surprised if Houston Texans had the guts to do it. But no, they are not going to part with Deshaun Watson for their former player's family connection. That would be idiotic. But then again, Pep Hamilton could motivate Derek Carr or Deshaun Watson, whatever QB they end up with. Or they could work on a way to get Derek Carr as their backup just in case Deshaun Watson really sits this out and he's dead serious. I mean, seriously. Derek Carr definitely has to hope that the right team comes for him at the right time. Because if Derek Carr doesn't get the right team, he's going to regret leaving the Raiders. I mean, seriously, the guy is definitely losing his mind. His mind, especially after everything he dedicated to the Raiders. He could lose his job to Marcus Mariota if he stays, because apparently Derek Carr's hasn't gone through way too much with the Raiders. I mean, seriously. I think this is a sign that his era is over, and the era of Marcus Mariota has begun. Anyways, now we move on to the next topic, which is going to be a spicy one, by the way. We already know Miami Dolphins hired 2 offensive coordinators instead of 1. That's right, their running back coach and their tight end coach. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I cannot believe that actually happened. So here's the thing. Well, 2021 Miami Dolphins. So now here comes my main topic question. Will 2021 Miami Dolphins offense have a better year than 2020 Tennessee Titans defense? And I'm really asking this because Miami Dolphins, when Brian Flores really went over the line this time, picking 2 offensive coordinators instead of promoting 1. I mean, seriously, he promoted 2 guys. Last year, Mike Vrabel did not get a defensive coordinator, and he kept it in disguise, and he kept Shane Bowen in disguise. Guys, so yeah. Which put Vrabel's job on the line when he promoted Shane Bowen. And now look at Brian Flores. I mean, seriously, Brian Flores promoted 2 people as offensive coordinator. What the heck? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, to tell the truth. Their running back and tight end coach, I mean, seriously. I can understand the tight end coach, but the running back coach, this is insanity. This is insanity, which is why I put this topic in. Will 2021 Miami Dolphins offense have a better year than 2020 Tennessee Titans defense? Because in my opinion, I think next year's Dolphins offense might be a little bit better, but still gonna have the because you promoted 2 people as offensive coordinator, and not to mention the fact this is Tua's sophomore year with the team. He's going to get the sophomore blues, for crying out loud. Tell me that I'm wrong. I mean, seriously. Sophomore blues can happen. This is... True, you may have the draft picks to back up the Dolphins, but if you don't pick wisely, the 2 offensive coordinators are going to fight it out, and then that's when things get out of control. I mean, seriously, this is obviously a terrible, terrible move. Why not promote George Godsey alone? For crying out loud. This is obviously terrible, terrible, terrible for Miami. I mean, seriously. Which brings me to my next question. Who's in bigger danger of losing their job? Brian Flores or Mike Vrabel? That's my next question. Who's in bigger danger of losing their job? Brian Flores or Mike Vrabel? Because Mike Vrabel went through the year keeping Shane Bowen in the dark. Shane Bowen's promotion in the dark, only to promote him right now. Meanwhile, Brian Flores, they rushed in and hired two offensive coordinators. I mean, seriously. Well, in my opinion, it's Brian Flores because at least Mike Vrabel got them to the AFC Championship and then this year the wild card round. So, yeah, unless I see Miami Dolphins in the playoffs, Brian Flores is going to be most likely out first because Brian Flores. I mean, seriously, can you imagine Eric Bieniemy with Miami? That would be good. Well, this is the year to find out which head coach. Well, next year is going to be the year to determine which one of these two former Patriots is in danger of being fired because Brian Flores and Mike Vrabel, they're going to be duking it out next year in Nashville, Tennessee, when the Dolphins come to Tennessee to take on the Titans next year. Yeah, they got the Tennessee Titans. They got the entire AFC East. Dolphins is one of those home games. No, that's not it. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're back. Okay, we're back online. We're going to be doing the mock. We're going to be comparing the mock drafts for Bucky Brooks and Lance Zierlein. I can't spell Lance's last name correctly, so forgive me if I mispronounce it. Anyways, yeah, we're doing the mock. We're going to be comparing these two mock drafts. If I skip a team, then they chose the right. Then they agree on the right guy. Okay. We're not doing number one because they both agree on Trevor Lawrence. So let's. And then I'm gonna. So here's the thing. We're not gonna do number one because they both agree on Trevor Lawrence. So here's the thing. I'm gonna put in the live chat which guys Bucky and Lance choose, and then you comment down below which one makes sense. Okay? That way we get plenty of time. They both chose Trevor Lawrence, so we're going to skip that. We're going to go straight to number 2, the Jets. They both chose QBs, but they both chose different QBs. Okay, here's how it works. I'm skipping the first round, the first pick in the draft because they both agree on Trevor Lawrence. This is New York Jets. Number 2 pick in the draft. Bucky and Lance both agreed on QBs, but Bucky chose Justin Fields from Ohio State, and Lance chose. Oops. Gotta delete that one. That one I don't want. Sorry about that, kid. So yeah, here's Bucky and Lance's picks. They both want for the New York Jets. At number 2, Bucky chooses Justin Fields from Ohio State. Lance chooses Zach Wilson from BYU. Which of these picks makes sense? I mean, seriously, Justin Fields, Justin Fields, he's a good QB, but Zach Wilson, I'm not so sure. The reason I skipped ahead to number 2 is because they both agreed on Trevor Lawrence. So if I'm putting them in. Now let's move on to Miami. As you can see here, Miami, Bucky and Lance both agree that Miami Dolphins should pick a wide receiver in the 3rd pick in the draft, but Bucky and Lance chose different wide receivers. Bucky chose Jamar Chase. Lance chose Tua's former teammate, Devonta Smith. Basically, in this one, Lance's pick makes sense, considering the fact that Devonta Smith is Tua's teammate. I have to agree with Lance's pick. Thoughts on the Jets? Brandon Hung, welcome. I think you should watch EDP 445. For the Jets QB, I think Bucky's makes sense because Justin Fields is one tough QB. He led Ohio State to the championships, and even though they lost, I still think Justin Fields would make sense. That is unless Jacksonville suddenly doesn't draft Trevor Lawrence. What are the odds of that? Slim. Anyways, now we move on to pick number 4. Do you agree Carson Wentz is the worst QB in the NFL? I don't know. I think Carson Wentz is on the wrong team to do it. I think Philadelphia is a bad pick for him. If he stays in Philadelphia, then yeah, I call him the worst. No, I don't. But if he goes to another team, I got to give him another chance. I mean, seriously, I got to give him another chance if he leaves Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is a bad system for him. Anyways, let's continue with the mock draft. Dude, they hired Nick Sirianni. The organization is terrible. The organization is horrible. Yeah. I don't know. Nick Sirianni led that Indianapolis Colts offense all too well. Made it to the playoffs. Anyways, let's continue on to the mock draft. Bucky's pick for the Atlanta Falcons is Zach Wilson, and Lance's pick Patrick Surtain. So yeah, Bucky has them going QB to replace Matt Ryan, and Lance, he has Atlanta going cornerback. And going with the guy from Alabama, I think Lance's pick makes sense. I don't think Atlanta Falcons are ready to replace Matt Ryan yet. I think they ought to wait another year if that happens. If they do, then Falcons fans are going to be like Green Bay Packers fans on draft night when they drafted Jordan Love. I mean, did you see Tom Grossi's reaction to that pick? It was priceless to all the Vikings, Bears, and Lions fans. But for Packers fans, it was horrible. It was a terrible night to be a Packers fan. Night 1 was terrible. Because they wasted a first, because they traded up to get a quarterback that they're not even going to use. So yeah, I think if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, I think you would call Bucky crazy. So far, Lance's picks make sense. More sense than Bucky's. The only one. Now we move on to the Bengals pick. Pick at number 5. Bucky makes more sense, finally. He chose offensive tackle Penny Sewell, and Lance. He chose tight end Kyle Pitts. This is the Bengals pick. This is Bucky's and Lance's picks. Bucky chose Penny Sewell for the Bengals, and Lance chose Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Pittsburgh. No, from Florida, I mean. Sorry about that. So yeah, Penny Sewell is Bucky's pick for the Bengals. Lance chooses Kyle Pitts for the Bengals. I think finally Bucky makes sense when it comes to the Bengals. I think they do need an offensive line, an offensive tackle. I think for the Bengals, Bucky's pick makes sense. Makes sense. If you're just tuning in, I did not do Jacksonville Jaguars first pick because they both agreed that Trevor Lawrence would be the pick. So if they both agree on a pick, I'm not doing that. I'm only doing the difference. What's this? Now let's move on to pick number 6. Now, I don't know which side I should be on when it comes to this Philadelphia Eagles pick. Bucky chooses Kyle Pitts. Chooses tight end Kyle Pitts. While Lance, he chooses linebacker Micah Parsons. I mean, seriously, this, what I wrote here is the Eagles pick option for both. Kyle Pitts, Parsons is good. So you agree with Lance's pick on the Philadelphia Eagles, Chase? Because this is Philadelphia Eagles option. I'm comparing Bucky's and Lance's mock drafts now. And I think you know what, Chase? I'm going to agree with you. I think the linebacker is crucial for the Eagles, so Lance definitely takes the lead, extends his lead over Bucky's. Now, let's move on to the Detroit Lions, shall we? Yes, exactly. It wouldn't be a bad pick for us either. Now, let's move on to the Detroit Lions next. They both chose wide receivers, but Bucky's and Lance's are different. Bucky has the Detroit Lions picking Jalen Waddle, and Lance chose Jamar Chase. for the Lions. I mean, seriously. If you look up, you see that Bucky chose Jamar Chase for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, seriously. Either way, Bucky and Lance are drafting wide receivers for Jared Goff in the first round. But still, Bucky chose Jalen Waddle. Lance chose Jamar Chase. I mean, come on. Which wide receiver is going to fit Detroit's system or Jared Goff's system? Well, Jalen Waddle, he did get injured before the championship. Meanwhile, Jamar Chase is a clever wide receiver. Okay, let's move on to the Carolina Panthers. For pick number 8, the Carolina Panthers Bucky has selected Trey Lance for the Carolina Panthers, and Lance has selected Rashawn Slater. So Bucky goes QB, Lance goes offensive tackle. Now these two picks are conflicting, but Trey Lance, I don't know if he's the QB for to replace Teddy Bridgewater. But I think that's all they can afford, I think. Meanwhile, Rashawn Slater. You definitely do need a tackle, Panthers. You definitely need a tackle. Okay, let's move on to pick number 9. Shall we? Bucky and Lance chose cornerbacks for Denver Broncos, but here's the thing. They chose different cornerbacks. For Bucky, Bucky chose Patrick Surtain for Denver, and for Lance's pick for Denver is Caleb Farley, which was Bucky's pick at number 10, by the way. So yeah, according to Bucky and Lance, Broncos may go cornerback in the first round, according to Denver's pick from Bucky's and Lance's. So yeah, according to Bucky and Lance, Denver Broncos may go cornerback. But we don't know which one it will be, considering the fact that it will be a tough call. But like I said, now we move on to Dallas Cowboys. I already told you Bucky's pick. It is Caleb Farley. Meanwhile, we move on to Lance's. So yeah, that's basically Bucky's and Lance's picks. Bucky chose Caleb Farley, which was Lance's pick for Denver, and Lance chooses Penny Sewell, which, by the way, was Cincinnati Bengals pick on Bucky's side. I mean, seriously, if Dallas Cowboys get lucky enough to get Sewell, they would go down in NFL draft history. I mean, seriously, they got CeeDee Lamb last year. I mean, seriously, they would seriously go down in NFL draft history. That would be the second year in a row they draft good in the first round. I mean, seriously, they drafted CeeDee Lamb in the first round last year. If any slides to Dallas, I think that would be one heck of a pick, but I think Bucky's makes more sense. Now we move on to the New York Giants. For New York Giants pick, Bucky chose edge rusher from Miami, Gregory Rosasaru. I can't even pronounce that last name, so if someone drops him, don't blame me. Don't blame me, because I'm trying to do my best. Even if he gets drafted by Tennessee. Lance chose Jalen Waddle from Alabama, hoping Daniel Jones gets a decent wide receiver. Bucky is trying to improve the Giants' defense. Lance wants Daniel Jones to have a better receiver. I mean, seriously, that is one heck of a crazy, but I think defense has to come first. I have to agree with Bucky. Defense comes first. So, yeah, I'm going to say Giants are better with Bucky's pick. Now, let's move on to the San Francisco 49ers, shall we? For San Francisco 49ers, Bucky selected cornerback J.C. Horn, and Lance chooses Trey Lance. Bucky is trying to improve San Francisco 49ers defense, while Lance, they are focusing on the quarterback situation. So because they're facing the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is not the future, and they are not in the prime position for free agency or through trades. I think they are looking to the draft. Lance is thinking about the draft when it comes to the QB situation. So yeah, Lance is definitely thinking about the QBs. When it comes to San Francisco. Now, here's the thing. Bucky and Lance each chose an offensive tackle for the Chargers, but they chose different offensive tackles. So yeah, both Bucky and Lance chose offensive tackles. Sorry if I didn't put in the OT. So yeah, for Chargers, for Bucky, he has Chargers selecting Rashawn Slater. For Lance, he has the Chargers selecting Christian Darrisaw. And I can't blame them for both wanting to go offensive tackle. They want Justin Herbert to be well guarded. They want Austin Eckler to run fast. So you can't exactly blame Bucky and Lance for choosing offensive tackle in the first round. They have different opinions, but hey, at least they both have one thing in mind. Chargers going offensive tackles in the first round. Now then, let's move on to the Minnesota Vikings. So yeah, Bucky chose an edge rusher, Kwity Paye, and Lance. He thinks Vikings will go offensive tackle, Elijah Vera Tucker. And to tell the truth, Daniel Jeremiah agreed with Bucky's position. He just chose a different player. That's all. I mean, seriously. Kwity Paye. And for Lance, it's Elijah Vera Tucker. The Vikings pick is conflicting, so they could go either way. This pick could go either way. Now we move on to the Patriots pick, both of which are familiar faces. Bucky's pick, he chooses linebacker Micah Parsons. For Lance, he chooses Justin Fields. So yeah, Bucky and Lance have different opinions on the Patriots. Bucky chooses Micah Parsons for Patriots defense. Lance thinks they might go Justin Fields in the first round, getting the QB spot out of the way. I mean, seriously, I think I could agree with Lance's pick. I mean, Justin Fields could replace Tom Brady better than Mac Jones. I mean, seriously. No. No, that wouldn't make sense. But the fact remains is that Justin Fields could be a better QB if Bill Belichick took him in, at least until retirement. I'm sorry, I can't myself. But if Micah Parsons does end up with the Patriots, that defense would be incredible. But I think Bucky would make sense considering the fact that they could wait a little while longer to get a QB. Maybe they'll pull a Tom Brady and wait till the late round. If that happens, and there's another Tom Brady out there, we're heading into the future, people. We're heading into the future. Imagine if that does happen. Patriots wait until late round to pick a QB. What if Kellen Mond is drafted by the Patriots and he ends up like Tom Brady? I mean, seriously, can you imagine if that happens? Okay, now we move on to the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals pick, and Bucky's and Lance's pick is makes way more sense than Lance's. I mean, seriously, this is Arizona Cardinals pick according to Bucky and Lance. Bucky chooses Devonta Smith. He's going to be way gone before Cardinals get him. But if he does, Arizona Cardinals are going to be next year's Dallas Cowboys. I mean, seriously, if Devonta Smith falls all the way to Cardinals pick, they're going to be as lucky as Dallas Cowboys were when CD Lamb was right in their laps. I mean, seriously. If Arizona Cardinals was going to go for Devonta Smith, they're going to have to wear a lot of leaf clovers. Yeah, they're going to have to wear a lot of leaf clovers. Meanwhile, Lance chooses edge rusher Azeez Ojulari, which makes more sense. By the way, edge rusher is in one of their departments. I think Lance's makes more sense than Bucky's, because for Bucky's pick to come true, they're going to have to wear a lot of leaf clovers. Okay, now we skip Las Vegas Raiders pick. Why are we doing that? Because they both chose the same guy. They both chose the same guy, and I can't pronounce his name right. Okay? So let's move on to Miami Dolphins' second pick. Bucky go. So yeah, this is Miami Dolphins' 18th pick in the draft, according to Bucky and Lance. Lance has Gregory Rose. I can't pronounce that last name. Bucky, on the other hand, picked Najee Harris. Najee Harris from Alabama. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Anyways, yeah. Who would have thought this would happen? I mean, seriously. If this were to happen, Dolphins would most likely try and steal Tony Deuce from us as their running back coach because he raised our king Derrick Henry into the running back he is. If Najee Harris falls to Miami, they're going to try and steal Tony Deuce from us. I hope that doesn't come to that. If Tony Deuce does get stolen by Miami, then that's a sign that they're going to draft Najee Harris. I mean, seriously, Miami Dolphins. Bucky has them picking wide receiver and running back. Meanwhile, Lance has them going offense and defense with their first round picks. Okay, now we move on to the playoffs picks. Starting with Washington football team, since they have the cruddy record. Here's Bucky and Lance's pick for Washington football team. Bucky chooses quarterback Mac Jones from Alabama. Lance chooses wide receiver Elijah Moore. What? I think Bucky's makes more sense than Lance's. I mean, seriously, you're going to pick a wide receiver without a proper QB? I mean, seriously. I think Bucky's pick makes more sense. I mean, seriously, Bucky's pick makes more sense because Mac Jones obviously has because Mac Jones is the QB of the future. I think Washington would be better off with Mac Jones than those cruddy QBs they have. I mean, seriously, those cruddy QBs are the reason the first step Tampa Bay made the Super Bowl. I mean, seriously. So now we move on to Chicago Bears. So basically for Chicago Bears, Bucky chooses Elijah Vera Tucker, but he puts him in the offensive lineman. He does not pick him as offensive tackle. But Lance, he chooses Tevin Jenkins as offensive tackle. So yeah, basically they want Chicago Bears. So basically Bucky and Lance, they have different opinions, but they're both saying go offensive for Chicago. Because if they call on Carson Wentz tonight or sometime before Super Bowl, It could happen. It could happen. I mean, seriously, Chicago Bears, they're in the lead for the Carson Wentz sweepstakes. So keep your eyes open on that. These picks can make sense. Now we move on to Indianapolis Colts. So yeah, what I put in right now, this is Indianapolis's pick by Bucky and Lance. Bucky chooses Christian Darrisaw, and Lance chooses Jason Owen. Sorry if I didn't put in the offensive tackle for Christian Darrisaw. So yeah, Bucky, he's really ahead of this because he's thinking about the Anthony Costanzo retirement. And if he were, and if he is still fighting for and if the Colts are still fighting for Carson Wentz, then this pick makes more sense. This pick makes the more sense because they have Anthony Costanzo's retirement to think about. So I think Bucky actually used his head for once on that pick. Meanwhile, Lance, they have Jason Owen from Penn State, the edge rusher from over there. Yeah, that's what I call one heck of a crazy pick. I know. The Colts defense is already tough. They already kept their defensive coordinator. I mean, seriously. Now let's move on to my team, the Tennessee Titans. So for Tennessee Titans, both Bucky and Lance chose edge rushers, but they chose different guys for Tennessee Titans. For Bucky, they chose Azeez Ojulari. For Lance, he chooses Kwity Paye. At least those two make more sense than what Daniel Jeremiah chose, J.C. Horn. I mean, seriously. Bucky and Lance may have chosen different guys, but they know Tennessee Titans needs an edge rusher. So there's not much to complain about that. I think this pick could go equal ways. We're skipping the New York Jets' second pick because they both agreed on their pick. For Pittsburgh Steelers pick in the first round, both Bucky and Lance chose linebackers, but they chose different linebackers. Bucky chose Nick Bolton, and Lance chose Zaven Collins. Basically, I think why they chose linebackers is beyond me. I think they should go offensive linemen in this with this pick. I mean, seriously, that is what I call sad. That is what I call sad. I mean, seriously, picking a linebacker in the first round couldn't not. Then again, with all those offensive linemen going down, can't exactly blame them. Okay, now we move on to Jacksonville's 25th pick, the one they got from the Los Angeles Rams. For the 25th pick, Jacksonville Jaguars pick, Bucky chooses Christian Barmore from Alabama, and Lance chose cornerback J.C. Horn from South Carolina. So basically, they both agree on defense, just in different positions. And I have to say, if Bucky's pick comes true, then Jaguars are going to be a deep threat. Deep threat, because if they were to stick with their guts on Trevor Lawrence and get Christian Barmore at pick number 25, they're going to be trouble. Jacksonville is going to be trouble if Christian Barmore is that 25th pick in the draft. I mean, seriously, that is what I call crazy. I mean, seriously, Jacksonville would be crazy enough not to pass on Christian Barmore. I'm sorry, I can't give J.C. Horn the credit to be drafted. I mean, seriously, I think Bucky's pick makes more sense. Speaking of Christian Barmore, we're not done with him yet, but first let's start off with Bucky's pick for the Cleveland Browns. Of course, Barmore would be better off in the strong defense because Lance has Christian Barmore going to Cleveland. Bucky has Cleveland selecting Zaven Collins. That's Daniel Jeremiah's pick as well. So in the way, I think Zaven Collins makes more sense. But Christian Barmore could be a deep threat if he goes that far. I think Jaguars or Browns, no matter which one, Barmore is going to be a big help to either of those defenses. If Bucky or Lance is right, then Jaguars and Browns are going to have a tough defensive player to add to their roster. I mean, seriously. Urban Meyer or Kevin Stefanski are going to be lucky. I mean, seriously, Barmore is a tough defensive tackle. Urban Meyer or Kevin Stefanski. Whoever wins that Barmore sweepstakes is going to have a great defensive player. Now we move on to the Baltimore Ravens. what I typed in right now, this is Baltimore Ravens pick made by Bucky and Lance. Oops, I forgot to type in Lance's name. Oh, never mind. Anyways, Bucky's pick is Jalen Phillips, the edge rusher from Miami. Lance's pick, he has Ravens picking safety, Trayvon Mulrick. The first safety off the board, according to Lance. I think Bucky's pick makes more sense because I think the Ravens do need the edge rusher. I don't see them picking a safety anytime soon. Speaking of Trayvon Von Mulrick, that is Bucky's pick as well for the New Orleans Saints. While Lance's pick, Lance chooses Tyson Campbell, cornerback. So basically, Saints. So basically, that's two. So basically, that is basically a 5. No, wait, that's 5 rounds in a row. Bucky and Lance go defensive. I mean, seriously, that's 5 rounds in a row. First the Titans, then the... No, wait, no. No, that's 4 in a row because they chose a running back for the Jets. So, yeah, that's basically 4 in a row. Browns, Jaguars, Browns, Ravens, and now Saints. That is what I call one heck of a... We're almost done, people, that with the mock drafts. Then we can focus on the Super Bowl preview. We're now on Green Bay Packers. I won't do Buccaneers and Chiefs because these two are facing each other. So for Green Bay Packers, Bucky and Lance both chose offensive linemen, and I'm sorry I forgot to put in Lance again. Crap. Anyways, you get the point. Bucky chose offensive lineman Jalen Mayfield, and Lance chooses Landon Dickerson. So yeah, basically Green Bay Packers. According to Bucky and Lance, their Packers are going offensive linemen, which I think I'm going to have to agree with them. I mean, seriously, how are you supposed to get the proper offensive line? And besides that, Aaron Jones is heading to free agency. And I mean, seriously, they both agree that Travis, I can't even pronounce his name, but it starts with an E. Either way, they have him going to New York Jets at number 23, where the Seattle Seahawks pick is. So yeah, I think they'll focus on offensive linemen if they stay in that pick. And now for the final pick of the night, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills. Bucky has them selecting Carlos Basham Jr. and Lance has them picking Najee Harris. Now Lance's pick makes more sense because the Buffalo Bills lack the running back. I mean, seriously, Buffalo Bills lack the running back. I mean, seriously, I think I have to agree with Lance's pick. Najee Harris is a fantastic running back. I think the reason Buffalo Bills lost to that Chiefs defense is because they didn't have the proper running back. I have to say Najee Harris could get the Buffalo Bills on track. Put Buffalo Bills with Najee Harris. And based on the combined total of this draft, I have to say Lance's mock draft makes more sense than Bucky's. Because guess what? Lance's picks make more sense than Bucky's. I mean, seriously, most of these picks make more sense. I'm not doing Chiefs and Buccaneers because we are heading to the Super Bowl. So you all lucked out on those final two picks. But yeah, we are definitely going. So yeah, I'm going to have to say Lance's picks make more sense than Bucky's. Speaking of which, it's time for you all to spread the word because it is finally Super Bowl 55 preview time. Representing the AFC this year is the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Their path was easy. Kansas City Chiefs path was easy, by the way. They finished the season 14-2, getting that bye week. And then all of a sudden in the divisional round, they defeated Cleveland Browns, but Patrick Mahomes never finished the game. And then all of a sudden they survived against Cleveland. That was a very major shock. That was a major shock, to say the least. It was a major shock to see Chiefs win without Patrick Mahomes finishing the game. And then finally, the AFC Championship. They defeated Buffalo Bills easily. I mean, seriously. True, it may have been a close game, but Chiefs were in the driver's seat the whole game. Yeah. Chiefs were in the driver's seat the whole game. Representing the NFC East is the team that's hosting the Super Bowl, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, by the way, made it this far with the help of a certain QB who hit free agency after leaving New England, by the way. That's right, I'm talking about Tom Brady. They finished 11-5, made it to the 5th seed, by the way. They defeated Washington football team in the wild card round, which we all knew it was coming, but they defeated their divisional foes, the New Orleans Saints, in the divisional round. That defense destroyed Drew Brees. Brees. And finally, they made it to the NFC Championship after defeating the Green Bay Packers. They even demolished Aaron Rodgers as well. Buccaneers defense, it is kind of insanity. The Buccaneers defense is for real. I mean, seriously, Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers couldn't even stop them. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is a tough call. This is a tough call. Chiefs are the defending champs. Buccaneers are the home team. Plus, these two teams, they faced off in week 12. This is a tough call. This is a tough call. But in the end, I gotta say the winner of this game will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got the Buccaneers winning this game. And I know what you're thinking. Call me crazy. But I don't think so. I'm gonna have faith in Tampa Bay. If they were able to if that defense was able to destroy Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, then there's no doubt Patrick Mahomes is gonna have a tough game. Plus, they got the receivers to do. Plus, Tom Brady's got the receivers to do it. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. But the only thing that could slip up was Antonio Brown. But he's got Gronk. I mean, seriously. Tom Brady has quite the year. I mean, seriously, after spending his last year in New England, losing to the Tennessee Titans in the wild card round, he came back into the NFL after leaving New England, and his next location was Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But what happens? He made it to the Super Bowl with his new team. I cannot believe this. Talk about a comeback story. Now, what's at stake is Tom Brady. If he wins this game, he becomes another quarterback to win a Super Bowl on multiple teams. But Patrick Mahomes, he has a reputation to defend as well. And Tom Brady, he's most of his wins come from young QBs. So we'll just see about that, won't we? But anyways, my prediction is the Buccaneers are the winners. And I'll be doing the Super Bowl on Sunday. I'll be seeing you all on Sunday when I do Super Bowl. Hope you enjoy a good night.